A black embassy officer gets arrested by the local police because they think the embassy officer is impersonating the police. I kid you not. You can't make this script up. A Maryland cop pulled out all the stops on a black embassy officer. Let's put up a picture of the officer, okay? Let's keep this picture up. The officer is in full uniform and arrested that officer, who's an actual officer, for impersonating an officer. The former embassy of Qatar special officer Stephen Alexander was trying in this picture to open his eyes after being pepper sprayed by the cop while walking through a national park. This actually happened in 2018. The reason why we're talking about it today is because that officer has now filed suit. Alexander was charged with resisting arrest, obstructing a police officer, even though he's the police, failure to obey a reasonable and lawful order that a law enforcement officer makes to prevent a disturbance to the public peace, which is a dumbass law, and impersonating a police officer. So he spent some time in jail. He didn't spend a long time in jail, but he spent some time in jail. According to a lawsuit obtained by the Atlanta Black Star, I'm gonna get into the background of this. Now remember, this man should have never went to jail at all, okay? He did nothing illegal. Alexander was walking home with groceries after night shift when a taser-drawn Maryland police officer approached him and demanded that he show his credentials. When Alexander refused, the officer pointed his firearm at him and demanded that he get on the ground. Once he was on the ground, the officer pepper sprayed Officer Alexander before putting him in handcuffs. As a result, Officer Alexander lost his officer job, had to fight criminal charges, suffered years of emotional distress. His attorney said he is now suing Maryland National Capital Park, who's been on Indisputable before for other crazy things, and Planning Commission police and the police officer for violating his rights and for excessive force. One of Alexander's attorneys said he has post-traumatic stress from what he felt was a life or death scenario. I'm sure he thought it was. In his lawsuit, Alexander is seeking monetary damages. The MNCPPC police officer, Mel Proctor, said he pulled out his taser because Alexander was wearing a ballistic vest and something around his waist with pouches. He drew his gun because he noticed Alexander had a gun holster on his hip protruding from under his coat. Yeah, it's called a police uniform. Yeah, that's what he had on. He was coming from work. He told you that. Proctor tried to paint Alexander as challenging in his report. They lied on the police report. They realized they were 100% in the wrong. So what did they do? They violated his rights again by lying on the police report, which by the way is a crime. The report said Alexander had asked him, "What are you going to do? Shoot me?" But Alexander's lawyer said he begged for his life. All right. The officer put this gun back in the holster and he sprayed Alexander in his eyes because he started to unzip his coat after Proctor told him not to, he wrote. He did not have his body-worn camera on during the interaction. While Alexander was dealing with the effects of the pepper spray, Proctor slammed him to the ground by the hood of his coat, put his knee in the man's back, handcuffed him, and sprayed in his face, the lawsuit says. The lawsuit also alleges Proctor went to great lengths to ensure Alexander was terminated from his job. There's more. So on May 11, 2018, Prince George's District Court Judge Byron Barino dropped all the charges against Alexander and criticized the prosecutor for even pursuing the case. Here's what the judge said in court, all right? Judge said, and I quote, "This is questionable at best. A lawful stop? Mr. Alexander did nothing wrong other than walking through a park after having worked a long, hard day, carrying his belongings from work and carrying his groceries. And a police officer who wasn't following protocol only exacerbated the situation by making it worse. And that was clear from his own testimony. Alexander wished that this never happened. It has traumatized him and his family. So let me tell you what went down. This is a pissing contest, okay? The cop said, stop, prove to me you're the police, okay? Already violating protocol. You gotta have some pretext here. You gotta have some pretextual reason to even detain someone and ask them a question. You had none. This is a brother in a police outfit, a uniform. He's at work, he's coming from work, and you now need to challenge the authority. And as soon as the young brother in the police uniform did not say, yes, sir, boss, as soon as that happened, that's when the cop decided, oh, it's going to be some problems. Not only is it unprofessional, it is in fact criminal. Is the cop being charged? The cop who did this, who violated not only policy, but also committed criminal assault against Mr. Alexander? Where are the charges at? All right, Jessica, thoughts here.
Now, this is a totally ridiculous story that we are constantly seeing in the news about someone being black, well, someone black being harassed, being harassed. This man was doing nothing but walking home with his groceries when he got off work. And then he needed to prove that he's an officer. Why? Because he was a black man. You saw his uniform, so that wasn't good enough that he had his uniform on. So you wanted to go ahead and pepper spray this man in the face and all kind of stuff. I really hope that you get what's coming to you. I really do, and I hope that they don't cut you any slack. I'm really tired of people getting off on being able to disrespect black people, treat us any kind of way, and then get away with it. I'm sick of it. I really hope you get what you deserve. I hope justice is served the way it's supposed to be. And that's it. Thank you for coming. Be blessed. Have a great one.